Ever wondered how to make authentic pho at home? This delicious soup, with origins steeped deep within Vietnam's rich culinary history, has found its way into the hearts and stomachs of food lovers across the globe. Pho, pronounced pho, is a unique dish that perfectly marries together the soothing comfort of a warm soup with the vibrant, fresh flavors of herbs and spices. The magic of pho lies in its simplicity. It's a harmonious blend of just a few key components: the noodles, the meat, and most importantly, the broth. The broth is truly the heart of pho, a labor of love that demands time and attention to coax out those deep, complex flavors. This aromatic liquid gold, simmered for hours with beef bones, star anise, and other spices, is what gives pho its distinctive taste and soulful character. So, ready to bring the taste of Vietnam to your kitchen? Stay tuned! Making pho begins with gathering the right ingredients. Let's start with beef bones. They are the backbone of our broth, providing it with a rich, meaty flavor. Next, we have onions and ginger, which impart a sweet and warming note to the broth. Now, let's talk about our spices. Star anise, cloves, and cinnamon sticks lend an exotic, aromatic profile to the dish. Cardamom pods and coriander seeds add depth and complexity to the flavors. These spices are what set pho apart from other soups. Next in line is fish sauce, the secret ingredient that gives pho its distinctive umami kick. And don't forget the rock sugar. This will help balance out the savory elements with a touch of sweetness. For the body of the soup, we need rice noodles, light and delicate, perfect for soaking up the flavorsome broth. And finally, thinly sliced beef, cooked to perfection in the hot broth, is the crowning glory of the dish. With all these ingredients at hand, we can now start the cooking process. The heart of pho is its flavorful broth. Let's dive into its preparation. Our broth begins with beef bones. These are the foundation of our flavor, and we want to draw every bit of that out. So we'll start by giving them a good boil. This initial boiling is not about cooking the bones, but rather about cleaning them, removing any impurities that may cloud our broth. After around 15 minutes, we'll drain them, rinse them under cold water, and set them aside. While our bones are getting their initial boil, let's turn our attention to the onions and ginger. We're going to char these for a bit of smoky depth. Place them directly over an open flame or under a broiler, turning occasionally until they have a nice, even char. Don't worry about peeling them. The charred skins will add to the color and complexity of our broth. Next up are the spices. We'll toast them lightly to wake up their flavors. Star anise, cloves, cinnamon sticks, and cardamom pods, all dancing in a dry pan until their fragrance fills the air. Once they've had their little dance, we'll add them to the pot with our bones. Now we'll fill our pot with cold water and bring it to a gentle simmer. This is where the magic happens. Over the next 6 hours, the water will pull the flavors from the bones, the spices, the charred onion, and ginger, creating a broth that is rich and layered with flavor. At this point, we're going to add in our final 2 ingredients, fish sauce and rock sugar. The fish sauce gives our broth a savory depth, while the rock sugar balances it out with a hint of sweetness. Once all the ingredients are in, it's a waiting game. Let the broth simmer away, extracting all those beautiful flavors. Remember, good things come to those who wait. Now that our broth is simmering away, we can move on to the next step. While the broth simmers, we'll prepare the noodles and beef. It's time to bring our attention to the rice noodles and the beef. This process is fairly simple, yet it's crucial to get it right. So for the noodles, we're going to soak them in water until they are soft. This process might take a little time, so patience is key here. You want the noodles to be tender, but not mushy. Now let's shift our focus to the beef. We're looking for thinly sliced beef, almost paper thin. It's best to keep it raw until you're ready to serve. Why, you might ask? Well, the hot broth will cook the beef slices to perfection right in the bowl, giving you that melt-in-the-mouth experience that's just divine. And there you have it. Our noodles are tender, and our beef is thinly sliced and ready to plunge into the hot, flavorful broth. Our noodles and beef are ready. Now we wait for the broth. With all our components ready, it's time to assemble the pho. So we've got our broth simmering and our noodles prepared. It's time to bring it all together, to create the bowl of pho that's going to warm your soul. First things first, we take a nice, deep bowl, the kind that's perfect for cradling in your hands on a chilly day. Into this bowl, we're going to place our noodles. These slippery strands are the backbone of our dish, providing a satisfying chew and soaking up all the flavors we've worked so hard to develop. Next, we layer on the raw beef. Now don't be alarmed by the raw part. This is where the magic happens. This thinly sliced beef is going to cook right in the bowl as we pour over our hot broth. It's a beautiful process, watching the meat change from pink to brown, knowing that it's absorbing the rich flavors of the broth. And speaking of the broth, it's time for the star of the show to make its entrance. We're going to ladle this golden liquid over our noodles and beef. You'll want to pour it slowly, making sure that every inch of your bowl gets a taste of the broth. This is where the transformation occurs, where raw ingredients become a comforting bowl of pho. Now we're almost there, but we're not quite done yet. It's time for the finishing touches. We're going to garnish our pho with fresh herbs, a little cilantro, some basil, maybe a few sprigs of mint. These herbs will add a burst of freshness to our dish, a little pop of color and flavor that brings everything together. And finally, we can't forget our lime wedges. A squeeze of lime juice will add just the right amount of acidity to balance out the rich flavors of our pho. And there you have it, a bowl of warming, aromatic, and utterly delicious pho, right from your kitchen to your dining table. Enjoy!